Number 9, married couples. How many trusts? This is an important consideration, especially for married couples who are on their second marriage or third or fourth. It's getting, then it gets really important. So I have a number of clients who, remarried kind of later in life, and husband had his property when they got married, and wife had her property when they got married. And then, they bought a house together, and they're living in the house. And so sometimes for those people, it makes sense for them to have 3 trusts. They're not just going to have 1 trust and smush everything together. Husband has his separate trust, wife has her separate trust, and then they have a joint trust. And that's not at all unusual. Because they each have a different idea. They have their own children. They have a different idea about what they want to happen after they die, and they might have different investment strategies. This is an important point in the case that I just finished working on. The wife wasn't comfortable with the husband's level of risk tolerance. So she didn't want to have all of her assets invested in a way that made him happy. So she kept her assets in her own separate trust. She's the only trustee. She gets to make all the decisions. She doesn't have to worry about, I don't want to be 70% in stocks. I'm good with 50. She wanted to control that. So sometimes we have multiple trusts for a married couple. And that's often true also when one spouse has inherited a lot of wealth from their family, and they want to keep that wealth within their family. They don't necessarily want it going to their new spouse when they die, so it's kind of important to them to keep it separate. So we do that not infrequently. Now, one other important point for the married couples in this room: beyond how many trusts should we set up while we're alive is the question, how many trusts should we have after we die? In the old days, a married couple's trust would almost always say, when we die, this trust is going to split into 2 trusts. And we did that because we were worried about estate taxes. Right now, hardly anybody is worried about estate tax. I'd say 99% of my clients don't have to worry about estate tax because the exemption amount per person is over $12 million. So, that is enough for most of us, right? Certainly it's enough for me. So we don't need to do that fancy planning of splitting the trust into 2 trusts in order to avoid paying taxes. You might like it for other reasons, but if you've been married for 40 years to the same person, all your kids are your kids, there's no stepchildren, there's no animosity, there's nothing weird happening in the family, you might not like that complicated of an estate plan. You might like a more simple estate plan that doesn't require the surviving spouse to split everything into 2 pots. You might, but you might not. I just want you to think about it. If your trust was last updated before 2013, I am encouraging you to take a look at that. Go back to your lawyer and say, do I have an AB trust? That's what we call it when it splits into 2. Above ground and below ground. AB. Do I have that? And the second question is, do I need that? Maybe you do, but I want you to think about it. I want you to decide and not get stuck with it. Because we see that a lot. We have clients, the widow comes in, my husband just died, I have this trust, and this is my second least favorite conversation. I see you have this trust, and guess what? Now we have to make it into 2 trusts, and I'm really sorry because you don't need that. Clients don't like that, So take a look. That's an important one.
If you need help with your estate planning or administration, We also offer a free discovery call to help get the process started. You can find more information on booking your session by visiting absolutetrustcounsel.com/scheduling.